Hello, just a quick word here because actually Melissa just caught me on a nice conversation this morning because something happened. It's pretty damn cold here in Portugal, and we ordered some heaters for the office. And actually, I skipped a couple of suppliers because they couldn't deliver the next day, and we got into a conversation what actually the value is of fast delivery and next day delivery and all those kind of things. It's something we hear a lot. That's the consumer that wants that, and the e-commerce business wants to offer that. But what is it? What is it? Is it for real? Actually, the weird thing that it's actually not very clear because it has so many different contexts. I think what actually is the key to the answer to this, especially if you run a web shop, is figuring out the context of which your customers buy. Right? There's some marketing value in saying, okay, next day delivery or on demand delivery, but there is no such thing as free delivery, so it comes at a price. And who's going to pay for that price? Right? It's either you or it's your customer, and well, usually it's you because no one wants to charge those shipping costs directly to their customer unless the customer has a sense of urgency, and that's already where it becomes so contextual, right? If you buy an expensive watch online, for €1,000, you probably don't mind paying €15 extra to get it really fast because you really like the thing. Right? It's relatively the additional cost is relatively low, but you won't do that for your pair of socks that you order. So we actually got into the conversation now. What does it really do, and how can you deal with this as a small web shop owner? And we had a conversation about it. Okay, so what's the commercial value of being able to offer it? Because obviously there is one. Consumers do look at fast delivery, and they expect in many cases free delivery or at least relatively cheap. So it's obviously a thing that it helps you sell more if you offer fast delivery. The downside of it is that you only capture that value if you actually are able to do it. In many cases, we see next day delivery advertised by e-commerce owners, and even in cases where the consumer doesn't even necessarily want it next day, but it's just a commercial offer, so it's more a marketing driver and a sales driver than actual logistics underneath their business. But at that moment, you actually set the expectation with your consumer that you will deliver the next day. The moment you're not able to actually do that, how much value was that next day delivery? Because you actually ended up with a disappointed customer who didn't ask for next day delivery in the first place. And I think this is the kind of thing people should become much more aware of, that the marketing aspect of it and the logistics aspect of it should go hand in hand, realizing what is the mindset when your customer buys stuff. Do they actually want next day delivery, or is 2 or 3 days also fine? And understanding that from a web shop perspective allows you to actually build a logistics system at a very, I think, a much more interesting price point that fits your business, instead of just shouting to the market, hey, it must be next day deliveries, faster is always better. No, it's not. Reliable is usually much better, unless you sell products in a context where your customer has such a sense of priority that fast becomes really, really important. And I think it really boils down to the misperception of the entire market, the way they look at it. On demand doesn't mean fast. On demand means that you get it when you expect it. And it's this kind of conversation we should have a lot more in e-commerce. It's I think, to put the consumer demand in a much more real context than purely the marketing context it has by now, and B, to actually understand how you should structure your logistics. Sort of, do you really need the additional cost of super fast logistics, or are your customers totally okay and well served with a bit slower, much more predictable and reliable, cheaper kind of deliveries? And I think that's one of the things we implicitly do a lot within Shiptimize. We have those kind of conversations with our customers, and I think Liz was totally right. It was actually an interesting thing to share here. I think we're gonna do this a bit more often, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, no, we will. We will. So that's my couple of 2 cents. Obviously, always interested in how you look at it, and you can be everyone. Literally, it's the marketing side of it and the logistics side. But if you're an e-commerce business, um, I think it's also super interesting to share your experiences, your ideas with that. So we're looking forward to hear from that. Thank you, and until next time.